Defining innovation. Why is innovation and defining innovation crucial to sustainable design? It is imperative due to the fact that if our current design premise in general does not include innovation as a core attribute in your culture of design, sustainable design will be lacking in key attributes that bring about change, and you will run into problems that may not be necessarily solved with solutions you used in the past. Sustainability in general is an afterthought in a lot of cases, and some of your standardized ideas of design will be flipped upside down. I believe incorporating innovation into your culture by defining it will create a team that does not only look in the box, but looks outside it as well. I believe a company-based definition of innovation that is utilized and encouraged will bring about change and be contagious. So how do I define innovation for our company? Here's our definition of innovation. To be called an innovation, an idea must be replicable at an economical cost and must satisfy a specific need. You will notice I didn't say innovation is coming up with the greatest widget ever conceived or inventing a new material that defines how all materials should be sustainable. By defining innovation, it will affect your relationship and your team's relationship with the word creativity. Here's the definition of creativity by Creativity at Work. Creativity is the act of turning new and imaginative ideas into reality. Creativity is characterized by the ability to perceive the world in new ways, to find hidden patterns, to make connections between seemingly unrelated phenomena, and to generate solutions. So many, and I know this, especially engineers, feel creativity is only granted to those that can paint or create music. Creating music or painting is only one way creativity can be expressed. This is not the only way it can be expressed in design. An example of simple creativity incorporated into design could be a new gate design that is more conducive to the use of PCR with multiple heat histories. That is creativity on a real perspective that will push forward greater awareness of sustainability through your design. Seeking these changes and anticipating these needs for sustainable design are creative. Combining these small creative wins into one package creates buzz, real interest in what was designed, and are the beginnings to a culture of sustainable design. Through these wins, sustainable designs become the norm, not a random occurrence. Design intent. I want to address design intent, and I'm not alluding to design intent defined by many 3D CAD modeling programs and how it relates to the software itself. I'm speaking more to the actual act of considering the environmental impact, feasibility, the financial gain, social impact, or consumer perception, and being consumer intuitive. Mind mapping is an excellent tool that can be used to list, identify, map, and correlate all the different issues that need to be incorporated into the new design. This act will enable you to identify issues, discover possible solutions, and help lay a roadmap for sustainable design that really means something to the industry. To aid the mapping, I've listed several key points that can be utilized to develop your statement of design intent, as well as start the grouping process. First, sustainability goals, aesthetic goals, material usage goals, brand perception, consumer intuitiveness, purity goals, economic goals, regulation, or political goals. Use these to start branching off and generating ideas. Also free for personal use is the mind mapping tool by MindMeister that can be utilized. There's a link at the bottom of the page. Here's an example of just a very small cut and pasted portion of a sustainable refillable airless mind map that we did. And we designed to give you an idea of how the creation of ideas are concentrated, explored, and to create a sustainable design. As you can see, we use many of the key points I listed in the previous slide. Sustainability goals led us to PCR-PP, which then led us to attaining a certified PCR source, and so on. Aesthetic goals. First thing was led us to a simple, clean look, which led us to ergonomic actuation. Material usage, percentage of PCR, or can we be monomaterial? Brand perception and goals. This was very important to us and had the most branches that led off our starting point. What we realized was not all brands had figured out how they would market a refillable. How do we deal with this conundrum with design? This made us ask, how do we make it look like a regular airless, but still act as a refillable when the brand was ready? Consumer intuitiveness. This was another subject that led to an outpouring of ideas. Eventually, we ended up utilizing a button for release. Economic goals led us quickly to cost neutral, which led us back to our material choice. Regulation or political goals. We thought about how a refillable would be marketed, shipped, and sold, which led us to ISTA requirements for shipping. So we incorporated 2 forms of sealing. Purity goals. This was one of the first things that started off that led us straight to airless. Now, while I was just stating some of the thought process for each point pictured, did you guess or think of what your next step might be if you were helping map this idea? If so, you already get how this can be an awesome tool for creativity, innovation, and design with a goal of sustainability behind it. Breaking the design down by these goals will lead to discovery and a path that results in a clear picture. Becoming educated in sustainability, utilizing design intent, defining innovation, which will cause you to reevaluate your relationship with creativity and will inspire designing for sustainability.